That's no, it has not occurred to me that you're fucking with me.
Okay.
Ever in my life. No, wrong one. I gotta turn that down.
I'm a little too deadpan. A little too dry, a little too deadpan for you sometimes.
Yeah, you gotta have a little more zest when you're being sarcastic. Has it occurred to you that I'm fucking with you? That's got that zest you need. A little bit of what? Okay.
I don't know.
Well, welcome to the Transmit Podcast, a Sam-free episode. I'm your host, Spike.
I'm Victor.
And today it's another kind of spitballing episode, kind of having a little fun with it.
Yeah, let's have a little fun with it.
I mean, realistically, I don't think this has been fun since like the last time we ate spicy foods. But we're gonna muddle through, because that's our thing. So
well, it looks like you've got things to talk about, though. You've got things to say.
Actually, if you look at it, it's empty. It is just no. Actually, I know I've got them. They're further up here. But no, I was gonna ask. You were talking about making a game recently, and I wanted to ask what kind of game were you thinking about making?
Okay, so this is really top secret.
Oh,
No one's supposed to know about this, and you just brought it up
oh okay. Well, listen.
on the podcast.
Well, there's only 3 listeners, so don't worry about it, man.
Well, I guess it all comes from work. I've been kind of inspired by my boss to further my knowledge of graphic design and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I saw. What was that program you were showing me that has that's really versatile?
I recently downloaded Blender,
Right.
which is a 3D modeling, 3D sculpting, animation, compositing program. It's got a lot of stuff in it. And it's starting to come up in the world, you know?
Yeah.
I never knew that, like, programs were kind of like, I don't know, they're kind of like companies almost, or people, like, they got to work their way up through the ranks of being taken seriously and used by the, major, creators out there.
Yeah, it seems like, what we used to call an app that you would do, like, one thing is now, it's just kind of a catch-all term for just any program.
Yeah.
So application now means like this whole Blender thing, they call it an app, but it has so many tools that it's something way bigger than any app that the iPhone first started with.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Blender is not really it's not an iOS. It's like a...
But still, like the term, because you were talking about this, like, what would you call this? And I had to stop myself from calling it an app.
Yeah.
Because that's just how ubiquitous, like, that is now.
Yeah, and it seems like a new thing where you're starting to call Photoshop an app.
Yeah.
And I always knew that Photoshop was like a program, or Flash was a program.
Yeah.
I never knew Flash or Photoshop or Adobe Illustrator to be like apps. But, you see that like kind of interchange with program
Right.
nowadays. It's weird.
And I also noticed that you were really inspired by the new Unreal Engine.
Yeah, so that's another thing. I can probably download it onto my MacBook Pro right now.
Yeah.
But I'd rather have like the full capabilities and powers.
Yeah, you need to buy something like a server or something like that, right?
Just a really powerful computer with a really good graphics card.
Apple,
it seems like it's the graphics card that really is the determining factor there.
For professional stuff like the Apple Tower, that seems to be a really good one, like a lot of creative people like, but it's pricey as all get out.
Yeah. So I was thinking about just building a PC, and it might be more expensive than the Apple.
Right. Well, that's the thing. The great thing about like the Apple Tower thing is it is also very modular, so you can do a lot of stuff with that.
Could you like switch out the graphics card?
Oh yeah, like it's designed to be like for whatever high-powered computing you need to do, you can do that. So it's worth looking into because I'm thinking about buying a new Apple. Like if the COVID thing, if I get another stimulus check, I'm definitely getting a new computer. But if it doesn't, I'm going to wait a little bit to amass some more paychecks.
Yeah, that would probably be a good idea.
Yeah, so because my iMac is getting a little old, getting a little slow. I bought it used, but it was still a really good buy, and it edits this podcast really well.
Oh yeah,
so that's why I like Apple for that. Also, go ahead.
You've been editing this on a MacBook?
Not on a MacBook, on an iMac.
Oh, the iMac, yeah.
Yeah, I hooked up an old TV to it, so now I have 2 screens, so I can watch Netflix while I edit stuff or while I type.
Yeah.
It's really handy.
Yeah, it's cool. So yeah, with Unreal Engine, I was just really inspired to start looking into the 3D programs, I'm kind of come from like a 2D kind of world where I'd sketch.
Oh yeah.
Photoshop, Illustrator, pretty much all the Adobe programs.
But given the nature of your job, you're having to just organically like learn how to do 3D stuff.
Yeah. So I've been doing 3D using SketchUp. I've been doing a lot of 3D work for about like 3 or 4 years now.
Yeah.
I've been learning SketchUp, but that's more of like geared toward like architecture, whereas Blender is geared toward, I guess it's more like a multimedia kind of thing, where it's geared toward more like animation.
Yeah.
Like making animated short films and stuff. There's like a whole Blender community out there.
Yeah, I've seen it. Like a lot of stuff that you wouldn't know, that you wouldn't think would have a community around it. Like, when I first thought like, maybe I could make a knife, and then I started I just saw a video of someone doing it, and I realized, oh, there's probably like a YouTube ghetto full of videos, and then there was like
like Blender. There's a bunch of Blender tutorials. We were watching some.
Yeah, we were, and it was pretty cool. Like he went from, they kind of cut out the part where he did that. That's the part I wanted to see, was the hair, because it was always like this moldy, or not moldy, but like big clay looking thing, and then it skips right to the part where it's all spread out and like lit with green. They didn't cover that.
Yeah, we were watching a sculpting kind of like speed tutorial, I guess.
Yeah, and those are always like, if you're looking for something relaxing, like watching someone like draw or sculpt or make a knife in like sped up fashion with some music over it is to me very relaxing.
Yeah, it can be pretty relaxing, and
that's what got me into trying to make knives, and I actually can do it. I just we need a bigger shed.
Yeah, we do. That's another thing that so now we're gonna leave the digital realm for a moment.
Go into the physical.
Yeah, the physical. So me and you have been having to we've been putting off leveling the backyard for a little bit.
Yeah. Well, you said you were looking into that, right?
Yeah. I was thinking about doing that tomorrow, actually.
Oh yeah. Well, I
we're talking about our day.
Just day. Well, this can be the podcast. Well, yeah, because I get off. I think I only have. Let me see.
I was gonna look up some tutorials on like how to level ground and stuff and level earth.
You got to pick where you're doing it first, and let me see my schedule, because that's what's gonna like determine how much I can help you. I think I don't have any evening shifts. Yeah, so I'll probably get off around 5.
It'll probably be a little too late by then.
It'll be a little too. Listen, if you want, if you start it,
bring out some floodlights and stuff.
Oh, we
can do it. I can get it started.
It's summer. It gets dark at 8. What are you talking about? Look, all you have to do really is clear the area you want of weeds. So just take your weed whacker and clear a rough area, and look at a tutorial for how to actually like the steps to like leveling that, and then we can do that together.
Okay.
Because I have no clue how to level it. Like the last time I helped you like mix concrete, we were doing a backyard wrestling thing. That was years ago.
Yeah, the earth.
You somehow found the $120 bag of concrete.
Yeah, that was a weird day.
I don't know what kind of specialty shit you were doing. I was sitting there like, that can't be for that size bag.
We were listening to the Funk Soul Brother song.
Yeah, we were.
Work it out now.
The Funk Soul Brother. God, how 90s was that?
Yeah.
I think it was 2000. Still, that bled in a little bit.
Yeah.
Because we were alive for a bunch of the 90s. Well, for all of it. Okay, so let me see here. I wanted to ask you, like, you've heard of little dick energy, right?
No.
You haven't heard of, like, that saying of little dick energy?
Are you being sarcastic? I've heard of big dick energy.
Well, yeah, but then there's little dick energy, too.
I haven't heard of little dick energy.
Okay, well, I've heard both of them bandied about.
Okay, so I'm assuming that little dick energy is the opposite of
big dick energy, obviously.
Big dick energy. So like it's someone who's mousy, insecure,
something like that. When they do
shy.
When you do something that's dickish. And so I was thinking, we can't be the only ones with this. So I was thinking, for women, we should say shallow vagina energy. Or wide vagina energy. I was wondering what if you were gonna say like that, because normally if you say like that's some big dick energy or that's some little dick energy, you're talking about a dude. But if a chick does something shitty, you'd be like, that's some shallow vagina energy.
I don't know if it's a 1-to-1 kind of exact comparison when it comes to the female body.
Okay, wide vagina energy then.
Well, I don't think they would go by size. So does that mean like a really
gaping
confident girl is like a tight vagina energy?
Yes, that has like
small vagina
that
energy?
has I know I'm worth something energy. Like wide vagina is like, take it or leave it.
I guess I think the most correct form that would catch on would be good vagina energy and bad vagina energy.
But that doesn't have the same connotation. You gotta. Okay, listen. This is why I wanted Sam here to talk about this. But
Or you can be like, clean vagina energy.
Ooh, dirty vagina. You got some dirty vagina. That is like a tuna fish sandwich up in there. You have got to stop that shit. Oh my god. Okay, so that was my thought. Like, I was thinking about that. Like, why don't we have something for that to fire back? Like, we back in the day they had I Don't Want No Scrubs, and then some other rapper came out with I Don't Want No Pigeons. It's a game of one-upsmanship, or at least like an arms race of gender-based insults, and we cannot afford to be left behind.
It is an arms race, but I feel like women still have a lot of catching up to do because we've got bitch and whore and slut and stuff like that. We don't really.
I guess
they don't really have any comebacks for that on us.
Well, they just don't let us have sex with them. That's like the ultimate. Like, it's like, oh, fuck. Listen, the women have way up on at least me. Okay, they've won up to me multiple times over.
At least in the world of sex.
Okay, in the world of sex, I am way behind on that one.
We'll take that.
Okay, I was thinking about this. We should make a movie. And if you're making like stuff on, I think this would be good for like your
Yeah, I had a fighting game idea.
Yeah, because along those same lines, since you're working on this thing, because I heard about the forest where or like a tree where you put like your body in it and you nutrient, like after you die you grow a tree from your body. So it's a movie where the entire forest is those trees.
It's a tree of people?
Well, no, trees made from people.
So every tree is a person.
Well, it was a person. Like it nutrientized a tree.
So it's like
It's a haunted forest, and it's like the first scene is a commercial for like this thing where it's like, we plant your body in this bio bag, and it will it'll feed a tree and grow, and you will be part of a forest in 50 years. And then like the next thought is a black screen with the words 50 years later, and there's a whole forest. And then that's when like we pick up and it's like, we've heard reports of strange goings on in your forest cemetery. And there's some sort of documentary film crew or something. Where would you go with the haunted forest idea?
So this is your premise, but you don't have much of a plot.
Not yet. Well, see, this is the thing. We brainstorm here.
So do you think it's a good premise?
I brought it up. Okay, this is getting passive aggressive now. You dick. I come to you with fucking gold.
I think I had some good premise.
Well, let's do
for movies. I don't have any good movie premises right now.
Well, I have a good premise right now, and
except for the Super Awesome Showdown movie.
And that was a good listen.
And that's a one sentence premise.
I think
this Super Awesome Showdown movie.
Yeah, well, I think this is a Shudder exclusive right here that I'm pitching right now, because you saw like they're into horror movies and gory stuff.
Yeah,
I think this would be a Shudder.
No, I think you're onto something a little bit there.
I think
what the plot would be.
And maybe maybe it's just
it makes me think too much of Logan Paul.
Logan Paul.
And the Suicide Forest.
Okay, listen. This is going to be... Listen. We're going to like start... We start writing in the near future. Principal photography happens months after that, after we pitch the movie. And that's like another, like, maybe year. And then maybe like months after that, it comes out. So like we're going to have plenty of buffer time.
Between this and Logan Paul.
Yeah, listen. Logan Paul's already like, look, the world has gone through a viral apocalypse, burned down, and now we're coming back into economic recovery slowly. We gained like a couple million jobs back, which is pretty good.
That's good.
So look, and you know how time is going right now. Like January feels like a lifetime ago.
It does. It feels like years ago.
Right?
I didn't know that song "Blinded by the Light" by The Weeknd.
Yeah.
Came out this year. I thought it came out last year, but it came out this year.
Yeah, it's so long. So don't worry about that. Like, so listen, we brainstorm a little bit. Like, I'm guessing maybe like the trees, they don't after a while, you don't need to like plant people in new trees. Like the haunting just spreads out through the forest at a certain point.
So, do you mind explaining some of like the kind of the things that we need to know about this world? Like, what does this world actually have ghosts in it?
Well, obviously it does. It's a haunted forest, so like it's not like it's all in your mind. No, it's a haunted forest.
Okay.
Because the ghosts are in the trees.
Okay.
And like maybe you've you've built it, you put it around this town perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
And so like it starts off like, deforestation is a big thing, and and they make great efforts to like regrow trees.
Okay.
And there's it goes from like a desolate sort of area to beautifully forested.
Mm-hmm.
But the cost is like an incredible amount of like ghosts and poltergeist activity.
Oh, inside of a forest.
Yeah, inside of a forest. And it's like one of those like New England towns, where there's like a small town surrounded by trees.
So there's still like animals and stuff in the forest?
Oh, there's going to be animals and everything. Maybe they're like influenced by the ghosts.
Uh-huh.
And like, everyone like moves in because it's a beautiful scenic town that just finally like came in. Like, okay, you're living with nature technically.
Okay. So is this going to be like say my mind went to Ghostbusters? Like the town had to call in because so much activity was happening in the forest that the ghosts start leaving the forest?
I was
walking down to the city, and then they had to get the Ghostbusters.
I mean,
to zap them.
that's one idea. And maybe it could be a ghost. That could be one of the next Ghostbuster movies.
Yeah.
I was thinking like it's more like Poltergeist, where like they're just stuck in this like situation surrounded by ghosts, and maybe they have to find the one way out of town. Like the only way out of town, there's like one road, and it's like maybe a tanker truck like sees a ghost and like gets like turned over, and there's a huge fire or something, and it just blocks off the path, and they have to find like the old mine trail to get out of town.
Okay.
And it's like, and no one believes it at first. They're like, no, it's just some weird goings on. It's just the local nature or something, and just stuff builds up slowly. I think this is an idea. A haunted forest.
Yeah, it's very M. Night Shyamalan.
Right? Except no shitty twist.
Well, we can make up a twist. Let me see the twist.
Okay, let's twist. What
twist is, it was actually just, it's actually like 3,000 years into the future.
Right.
And they're on a Mars colony.
Oh.
And it was just like an experiment to see if
they get out of there. And it's like, oh, well, time to find the next dome here on Mars. I mean, that's pretty. See, that's pretty cool.
I don't know if that's a really good twist. It's kind of a bad twist, actually.
Well, it's a fun twist, and maybe at some point you realize, oh, they've been hinting at it the whole time.
Maybe.
See, I mean, listen, this is an interesting. It goes from total like paranormal to paranormal sci-fi immediately. Come on. Listen, listen. How about this? I'll get some more ideas together.
Yeah.
Next podcast, we'll talk a little more about it. Haunted forest, the trees. Better than The Happening.
Or another ending. Another ending could be that they just cut the whole forest down.
Oh yeah. They first do the bio thing, and then they show like, oh, and this whole forest sprouted up, and then evil man and his evil penis fucking the earth, and all the paper's haunted.
All the paper's haunted.
Oh yeah, just like flyers and like little notes you put in like the people's under the windshield wipers and shit.
Yeah.
And it's just a whole haunting everywhere.
It's like spreads.
They haunt the world.
Spreads across the world. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
There we go. Get an environmental message in there.
Yeah, and then the world has to go paperless.
Oh my God, that'd be great. And then they find a way to make bodies into iPads. And then the haunting just continues. Dun dun dun. All right. So
well, all right.
Okay. So,
haunted trees.
The haunted forest.
Whatever happens to this company? Do they get sued or something?
Oh well, see, it's like any company in Hollywood. It's like infinite evil plus infinite money. So it doesn't matter. Like they're always going to come back. Like Umbrella Corporation, they're always around, and they always have infinite like resources to throw at just stupid evil stuff for some reason, right?
Yeah, that's true.
like, oh, you have another giant underground facility?
Well, we can definitely do concepts art and storyboards and stuff for this.
Yeah,
we
come on.
Definitely have the tools for it.
Yeah, we definitely do. And I got the recording equipment. We could get some voiceover and stuff. Hey, listen, this could be great.
Yeah, and if we did it like as a 7-minute short story first or something.
Oh,
like
yeah, we
that.
could do a spec script.
Or like, what's a spec script?
It's just like, like as a rough draft or like a...
Like there's a movie that recently came out on Netflix about these guys with superpowers.
Oh, yeah?
Oh,
Code 8.
Yeah, I think that.
Yeah, but they're oppressed.
That started out. So it's like a 2-hour movie or something on Netflix or a show or something.
I forget. Yeah, it's a movie.
But it's a movie. But it actually came out first as like an 8-minute short, like 5 years ago or something.
Just do a proof of concept.
Mm-hmm.
And then we pitch it around. Maybe Netflix picks it up. Look, everyone has a Netflix movie at this point. Why don't we?
Yeah, I had this game for this idea for a fighting game, and it's actually an idea I had since I was a kid. So I came up with this idea for a fighting game called World Fighters when I was a kid.
Oh yeah.
And all the characters are really stupid. It's kind of like a comical, kind of satirical version of a fighting game.
Yeah.
Kind of like satirizes Street Fighter.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
And Mortal Kombat a little bit. And I would do the art and stuff and did all the stages and stuff as a kid, but as a kid, growing up, I don't know where I'm gonna meet. I'd have to get into the video game industry and all that stuff, and
it's a whole. But now you're learning, as technology gets better, you could do a lot of this just on your own.
Yeah, so I want to recreate it and just see, do some proof of concept stuff.
I think you need a couple of really good characters just to start off with.
Yeah, I was gonna make a couple of characters and have them fight and stuff, and design some stages and some fighting mechanics and stuff.
Here's generic Asian place, except maybe everyone's freaked out.
And it's gonna be a generic Asian place.
That just turns out this is just a street in Japan, and the fights are always whoever gets down first, you don't get knocked out. The police show up and are like, "What the fuck are you two idiots doing here? We're going to arrest you." It's oh, I did more damage before the police arrived. I win. And other places well, this is Russia, so the police are an hour and a half out, so you might get a knockout. So it depends on where you are, what the police response time is. This fighter, when he fell over, he hit his head and had an aneurysm. He's dead now.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Well, that's some good satire right there, actually.
Right? It's you kind of give it into the real world, because how often can you throw fireballs in a literal street fight?
That's true. Yeah.
It's or one of the Street Fighter games, you're on the deck of an aircraft carrier or something,
mm-hmm.
or you're at a military base and everyone's yeah, fight. It's that guy's an officer. He's a pilot. He's not. They're not going to let him get into a bare knuckle fight on the fucking runway.
He's shooting sonic booms and stuff out of his hands.
Yeah, it's for one, if you're a really good pilot, you're not spending the 1,000 hours necessary to become a top class martial artist.
Yeah. So I would use the same exact characters that I designed as a kid. I didn't have that biting satire that you had right now.
Boom.
But
biting.
I did have some goofy character designs that I want to see if it catches on, because they're actually pretty, in my head, they actually stand out a little bit.
I like that. Okay. So yeah, listen, so we both have some creative work to do. I'm going to jot down some thoughts
about your haunted
forest. I'm still writing the thing about the SCP audio drama I want to do, but I'm getting close to being done. I actually have maybe 1.5 more episodes to do to write.
All right.
So I'm into that. Okay. So I've been running, and I've noticed more and more of those little libraries. You ever see those where somebody builds a little birdhouse looking thing and puts books in it?
Oh yeah, I saw one of those at Sprouts the other day.
Yeah, it's a really nice.
Before it got looted.
Yeah. Ooh, they got looted?
Yeah, Sprouts got looted. The one in La Mesa.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That is unfortunate. My Vons, my home store got looted too, but luckily I don't work out of that.
City Tacos, where I took you for your birthday once one time, did not get looted.
Well, there you go.
They were skipped over.
Well, they looted Panda Express for some reason. What the fuck are you gonna get from a Panda Express? I found a bag at nighttime. They're closed. I found this bag of frozen meat.
Yeah.
Woo! Yeah.
Anything corporate, I guess.
Well, they also got Play It Against Sports, which is a used sporting, Like, oh, this you can tell this groin protector was used because of the smell. Yep, that was used. Like they got like a Round Table Pizza. That guy is like, that's just some small business owner. He got the franchise now.
Yeah.
He's been there for like 30 years. But okay,
all of it is very unfortunate.
it's very, very unfortunate. Like that store's like the Vons isn't going to be up for like a month. So, no, what was I was talking about? Oh yeah, those little bookstores.
Yeah.
Or those little like outdoor libraries.
Book boxes.
Book boxes. I found out that they don't like it when you put dirty mags in those.
Oh.
That was they did. I found that out like on a local like alert.
See, now you're dry.
I am, and I'm also laying low because I had all these old dirty mags, and I didn't need them anymore. And I thought, well, the community could use them.
So you put it in there next to where the wild things are.
Yeah.
Hungry caterpillar.
Okay. To be fair, I probably should have looked at the content source because some of them are a little more adult than others. And yeah, there was some. Some of them are manga or hentai, so they look like comic books at first. And long story short, Facebook is looking for me. So.
Facebook? Why Facebook?
Well, it was posted on a Facebook alert that somebody put porn in one of those. And I just didn't look at all of the titles in there. So it would have been better if it was like one that more adults frequented, obviously.
Oh, well, now Facebook knows. We're going to post this on Facebook.
You can. I'm not going to. Okay, but look, long story short, I think it's perfectly okay to do that. Just be careful, is what I'm saying. See, Sam would have some biting. Speaking of biting commentary, she would have biting commentary about that.
Yeah, she would, but
I mean, I guess they didn't like that also.
You're being sarcastic. It's a little too deadpan, I think.
A little too I also put some DVDs in there. And I think that's why they really didn't like it, is not all of it was literature. Some of it was just like that, cheap 90s era DVDs of a...
So this is definitely a thought that went through your head.
Yeah.
It was never fully realized.
It was never fully realized. No, I never did that. But I just wonder, like, why hasn't anyone told a joke about that? Like, someone just, like, makes one of those things and then you open it up and it's just full of porn. Come on, somebody, like...
Well, you know what? Some kid who's coming into sexual awareness would be very happy about that, actually. I know as a 12 or 13-year-old kid, I would have been like, whoa. Score.
Oh, yeah. Like, I had a sixth sense for that as a kid. I'd be like, I think there's going to be porn in that pile of trash.
Yeah.
And I found, like, these old porn flyers. And that was spank material because we grew up in, like, the 90s when we had our sexual awakening.
Yeah.
And it was like, there was no internet for you young kids. Like, it wasn't like, you just go on, like Tumblr for a while was just pure hardcore porn.
We had that tape that we passed around.
Yeah, the tape you passed around, and every now and then you made the mistake of like watching it with your friends. And you're sitting there like y'all know.
I didn't really have. What was your problem with that?
Well, everyone suddenly has a boner, and you're all sitting there like you realize, okay, I have a boner. What do I do with this? And then you realize somebody got up and left, and the bathroom light came on. You heard the fan, and then like 5 minutes later they came back and they looked very relaxed. You realize, oh well, I just know what he did over there.
Yeah, I never. One of my other friends brought that up, that we all have boners together, and that thought never crossed my mind. I thought I was the only one that was getting a chub.
Right.
I thought everyone else was just handling it.
No.
Well, I thought everyone else was just like,
But as a man,
we're all pros. We're all pros at this.
Pros at this? No,
pros. We're pros at watching porn. We know how to not get a boner.
Oh no, I still can't control that. What are you talking about? Like I sit there like like seriously, if some chick took her top off in public and if I was surrounded by dudes, I would still like get a boner. I'd be like, well, this is happening. I gotta tuck that in. I gotta surreptitiously like do that maneuver where I tuck it up into the waistline.
Yeah.
So that I don't know. Like I'm not bragging, but like I have no control over that. That's just like sometimes it just has a mind of its own.
So is it like a full-on rager, or is it like a chub? Do you get like movement?
I'll get movement sometimes. Other times I'll be like, like I'll be what some would say pent up. And I'll especially it's awkward when I'm at work.
Because now I've noticed as I'm getting older, I have stages. My boner stages last a little bit longer.
Oh, nice.
So like the chub lasts a little bit longer than it used to.
Yeah.
The mid point lasts a little bit longer.
Really? It's
than it used to.
there's
So
bigger
it takes
lead
it-
up.
Yeah, it's a longer lead up.
And I've seen that in porn, like especially if the guy's a huge dick, they'll be like, it'll take a lot of stroking to get up there. But then again, that dick is like a foot long, so who knows?
Yeah, and then it gets. I usually don't get full on, rager.
Raging like
In public. It's usually like at home.
I'll get that every now and then because I ride around in a truck. So if I'm pent up and I have some thoughts, it'll be like everything will be mashed together.
Yeah.
And then I'll get up and it'll be like, oh my pants are like bulging out in a weird way from that. So I gotta like park the truck in such a way because that always happens is I'll pull up somewhere and at the worst time someone will come out and want to watch me like unload a truck. So most of the time like I'll pull up and they'll just be in their house and I'll have to knock on the door to get them to like come out. But every time I'm like I want to look at my phone for a minute or if I have an erection, they'll all come out and be like want to wave at me and watch me do my job. It's like, no, you can go in. I'll be up in a minute. No, I'm just going to stand at my porch and look at you.
Wow, you might scare some old people.
Yeah, so you got to park.
They're gonna like call your manager and be terrified.
It's like, he showed up, and I think he was going to come at me with that erection.
He had an erection. It was terrifying. I don't like to see men. You need to train them to not have erections when they're giving me food.
When I grew up in the 50s, the only erections I saw were from my priest. And, well...
and my father.
Oh, it got darker even. Oh, my God. It's like you just sit there, yes, man. It's like, see, my father thought he had to teach me more than just through words. Like, I don't want to hear, ma'am. It's like, no, this was natural in the 50s. Oh, Jesus, fuck. It's like, I will give you free groceries for the rest of your life if you stop talking right now.
Well, I guess that's a good boner killer, right?
Yeah, it's like, just picture that. It's like, other times it's like a mom. She'll come out. It's like, oh, my kids are here. They'll help. Like, no, keep them all in there. Give me a minute. Just, hang on.
But when you don't have the boner is when everyone's just like...
They're just all in there. They're all, we're watching TV. It takes a while for them to come to the door. I'll be knocking. Like, come on. It's like...
stressed out.
Come on. It's like, I'm in a hurry. Other times when I have some time, I guess that's when I get the boner. I'll look at my my Twitter account and stuff, and I'll see like attractive stuff when I have time. And then I'll show up, and I'll be like, oh, no, there's a rager. Great. Yeah, I said yes to like a few deliveries today. Like I was off for the day, but then like my boss called me up and was like, "Hey, can you go up to Valley Center and deliver 4 orders?" I'm like, you know what? Yes. It's like I had nothing going on. Yeah, I'd already run for the day, so I felt like I'd accomplished something. I was awake. It's like I hadn't said yes to anything in a while, and I'm trying to find that balance of saying no to things and saying yes to things. So I still have a life, but I also am useful.
Yeah.
So I did that, and then
That's good to have.
Yeah.
In the workforce.
So. Definitely. Let me see here. One more thing before we go. We're at 30 minutes.
30 minute?
Yeah. So I just want to ask one more thing, or talk about one more thing.
Sure, I have plenty of time.
Well, since we're now in a time where
and if there's people listening to this, sometimes they feel when we're about to close out the show, and then they get kind of a little sad.
Yeah, well,
and
obviously.
this is making them happy because they get to hear more of the show.
Just a little more of that sweet Transmit podcast. Now with 100% less Sam.
We need to talk about more sci-fi stuff and more.
Well, we do. We tried
more technology stuff.
Well, we also tried to watch Blood Machines, but you couldn't get a Shutter account
because of technology. So that shows how good at technology we are.
Well, I have one more thing to talk about before we go.
Okay.
In this time where everything is super important, and literally there's a lot of important subjects right now, and it's been a very interesting time coming off like what was happening right before COVID-19, which was a bunch of vapid bullshit. I want to harken back to that time because everything's really heavy right now. Do you remember when Katy Perry made racist shoes?
No.
Okay, well, she made shoes with faces on them.
Okay.
And they were just like regular colored shoes, but they just happened to have like eyes and stuff. And one of the shoes was colored black, and it had eyes on it. And so people said that is blackface. And I just want to harken back to that glorious time that I undervalued, where
We thought that was significant.
That was the biggest problem we had at the time. Was Katy? We all have to look inside our souls and think about Katy Perry's possibly racist shoe. Hang on, let me see if I can pull this up.
What did the media have against Katy Perry? What did Tumblr and social media have against her?
I have no idea.
They're trying to assassinate that woman.
They tried to hard that time. Katy Perry. Let's see.
She did do a little bit of the cultural appropriation, I suppose.
Let's see.
But that's neither here nor there.
Right? Okay, let me see here. Images. And I'm going to walk this up to you here in a second. All right. So she made a series of these shoes here.
Well, you can just hold it.
I'm just going to hold.
All right. Okay. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. I can see that. Now that I'm looking at it, it is just a little bit racist.
I can see that you would have that initial response. But then you got to realize, is Katy Perry the Klan member? Is she what you picture when you think, oh, Klan member? Katy Perry.
Well, okay, so the white shoe was, let me see that again.
It was tan, actually. Here we go.
So the white shoe is more of a...
Can you see it?
Yeah, the white person shoe is more of a normal white person's skin color.
Honestly, I think...
But the black shoe isn't a black person's skin color.
It's pure black. It's they just took shoe leather and made an ugly shoe.
Yeah. So,
both of those shoes are just hideous.
Well, yeah, they're both hideous, but yeah. Okay, it is questionably
I
racist.
think but that was worth a lot of news time at the time.
Yeah, that's when we should have been buying toilet paper, stocking up on food,
all sorts of things.
Supplies.
Listen, everyone, if you get to the point in your life where Katy Perry's shoes come off as racist, that is the time to start buy food, toilet paper, water, guns.
Because
something's coming.
Give it a couple more years.
That's
when that's when shit's gonna really hit the fan. You gotta be prepared for when things get really serious.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Imagine explaining someone who went into a coma just before President Trump announced his candidacy.
Yeah.
Just the day before, and then he wakes up today, and you gotta say well, what's been happening? It's
how much time do you get?
Yeah, it's oh yeah, you don't do the.
Are you sitting down?
You don't do
sit down.
No, I'm lying in my coma bed. I just woke up. Okay, so you want a summation of what's happening? So let's see. We almost went to war with North Korea. China, Hong Kong? Yeah. China took that over. Okay.
Iran, we almost went to war with Iran.
With Iran.
We actually killed one of those guys in a drone strike.
We killed one of those guys in a drone strike. We bombed a bunch of Russian private military contractors. Did I mention Trump as president? It's wait, you mean you're fired guy? Yeah, him.
And ironically, he did fire a lot of people in his cabinet.
He did fire a lot of people.
It's like a reality show.
It's and that destroyed the economy. Some people thought it would, but honestly, right up until the pandemic, the what? Okay. So,
how are your lungs?
Okay,
been working out?
Yeah. Do you have hypertension? Okay, so China fucked the world. Okay. They said no. There's no virus. Everything's cool. But then they were letting millions of people with the virus leave the quarantine zone, and now every country in the world has to deal with this. So we're okay. It was a shit show for a few months. We were all locked in our homes for about 3 months. What?
Do you have any spare masks or toilet paper?
Yeah. It's
any weird.
It's do you have a storage bin?
Do you have any stashes?
Yeah, come on.
Because we could use some.
We really could use it. Yeah, grocery stores were picked clean for about a 2-week period. Then we all kind of learned that toilet paper lasts longer than we thought it would. For some reason, we thought we used a whole roll of toilet paper on each wipe. You just take the whole thing and then you throw it away.
Yeah.
Okay, then the worst cop in the universe, for some reason, thought it'd be a good idea to kneel on somebody's neck in broad daylight while being recorded.
Yeah. Now
Now there's race riots again. Wait, is this the 90s again? Like, no.
I mean 60s.
Well, no, 90s too. Remember the Rodney King?
Oh yeah.
Remember,
Yeah.
and then 2014 as well. Jesus. So yeah,
So yeah, there's race riots again.
Listen, no one thinks what he did was good, but everyone's kind of using it for their own political gains. So it's like we're at once unified, but also completely polarized.
Yeah, I thought the pandemic would unite us.
It did not. We just
I thought us all hitting the one cop and all of, like the one thing that the left and the right can agree on is like
that cop's a dick.
The
cop needs to go to prison.
And both sides are not cool with authority.
No.
The left hates the cops. The right is more like, don't tell me what to do. I want to live my own life. You can't enforce shit on me.
Yeah. So
I thought maybe that would unite people, but
it did not. And right now, everyone's yelling at each other like 3 times as much on social media. So that brings us to about now.
And the Pentagon says the UFOs.
Oh yeah, there are UFOs. Did I mention that? Did I mention we have confirmed UFOs? Like they just came out and said it.
Yeah. So welcome to 2020.
Oh, your check for $1,200 came in, by the way. Wait. So yeah, we auto deposited that, and then also you need a mask and to stay in your home for another day. Wait, did that? Oh God, that's the other thing. Like that, like those riots started like the day before like the lockdown was supposed to end.
Yeah, I guess in most cities, yeah.
So wait, are we still on lockdown, or what's the deal with that?
I don't know. I don't think we're on lockdown anymore. I think everyone can go out now.
We can go out. I think we're in
places
like
that are open.
We're in phase like 1 of unlockdowning.
Yeah.
Oh God, all that happened like in the last like so much of that happened in like the last year.
Everything that you talked about, was from January to now.
Jesus, fuck. Okay, listen, I never thought I'd say it. I miss the times when like the all of that bullshit was like just like, oh hey, someone tweeted something that sounded kind of mean, but whatever. It's like somebody said that they believe in law and order, and that's racist. It's like, really? It's like now there's real shit going on.
Yeah. So. But although a lot of that does explain, especially from the time Trump was, running for a president, all the way up until now, it was kind of building up. Yeah,
like especially the last like few months. Like when you lock everyone in their homes for 3 months.
Yeah,
and all
people lose their jobs and stuff.
Oh yeah, 40 million people unemployed, and then
one video goes viral.
Yeah,
and then that's enough to.
It's like everyone is like, nope, that. I think that was like, it wasn't a straw, but I think it was like a pile of bricks that broke the camel's back.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, I think. And
it's like
the fact that it's social media and it was technology that kind of spurred all this on is kind of very Black Mirror-ish.
Seriously,
we are living like season 5 of Black Mirror.
Yeah, that's joke going around.
Surprise, everybody!
It's the world.
This is season 5 of Black Mirror.
Is everyone. No, the weird thing is, I was like the saddest thing about that video is like, besides being hard to watch, is I'm not saying they should have recorded, but if those people who were like, calling him a bum and recording it, I think if they like went away, he would have stopped doing that. I think he's the cop was one of those assholes who will, if you say, come on, man, please stop, he'll be like, no, now you're getting arrested. Come on, man, please. Now you're getting charged with 2 crimes. I just want to go home. Now you're getting charged with 3 crimes. Like, I think he's one of those like people who is just so like high on authority and like so unmovable and stubborn. Like, it's just that the more people talked at him, the more he was going to dig in. And unfortunately, like, he's also an idiot.
Yeah.
Because he was sitting there, like, being fucking recorded. Like, this is why I now realize that, like, body cameras don't stop police brutality. Like, I've moved on that. Like, I thought, like, if you strap a camera to every cop, obviously they're going to think. And now I realize, oh, no.
No, they've got connections and stuff to
Yeah, I was wrong. I thought, like, because I should have realized, like, we put cameras all around this house, but you still see people just wandering around in a world full of cameras just doing weird shit.
Yeah.
How many Ring doorbell alerts have you gotten where it's like, oh yeah, this weirdo got in front of our Ring doorbell and just started like licking doorknobs?
Yeah.
Like cameras, like they're a great way to like capture the evidence, but they just don't stop all sorts of crime.
Yeah, I know it's crazy, but it's very unfortunate what's happened with that.
It's like one asshole on a power trip fucked the country over.
Yeah, and now he's being charged with second-degree murder.
Which I always figured they'd upcharge him,
Yeah.
but you got to be careful about that because like you could make the case very like almost 100%. Like what he did was depraved indifference that led to death. But if you overcharge him, like you there's a higher chance of him getting off.
Yeah.
Like that's how George Zimmerman got off. They charged him with murder when they should have charged him with manslaughter.
Yeah.
And the jury kind of did the right thing, unfortunately, and acquitted him on the wrong charge, or acquitted him on the charge that he did not do.
Yeah.
So like they wanted to get those other 3 cops.
Yeah, so
So they upcharged him so they could get them all on accessory.
if they put it on first degree, it's probably going to be a lot harder.
I think it's going to be, it's impossible because it doesn't fit the criteria. He couldn't have premeditated that
Yeah.
because he just showed up. He got called and showed up. Second degree, I think like he should get a second degree charge, but there's a chance he gets acquitted.
Mhm.
And then now the country's really going to burn down. So
Yeah.
you have to be like, it's not like you upcharging isn't a case of how seriously you're taking the crime. It's a reflection of what you can prove.
Yeah, I know. But the average person probably wants this police officer to die.
Like listen,
rot in jail.
I would like him to die too.
Yeah.
Like I would have loved it if like he stepped away from that guy, or not even before, if like just a brick hit him in the head. Quite honestly, for the amount of shit he's caused, across the country now.
Yeah.
And like if he died of a stroke right then, I would have like applauded.
Yeah, I know. That's
Like that is it was hard to watch and horrifying, and
I still haven't really seen the video yet, but yeah, I've seen parts of it, and it is pretty dark.
yeah, and it's
Pretty
like
horrifying.
and the other thing, like you hire these idiots. That's a self-selecting group of people who want authority. Like, never let it be said that they reflect like all of our views on stuff. What you're getting is people who say, "I want to be a cop because I get a gun and authority."
Yeah, I know. It's
You wouldn't say that, and I wouldn't say that, but the person who says I want that is a lot of times the person you don't want to have that authority, as we're now finding out.
Yep.
And it's like same with like politicians. Like the person who says, "Oh, yeah, I get to put on a fake smile for like most of my career and lie to people." Oh yeah, I want to do that. Like no, maybe you shouldn't have that authority.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that politicians and journalists, they'll come in with the best of intentions, but then the reality is what breaks them, and then they have to conform to whatever
Whatever
culture that they're nearby.
What turns into a bizarre system where you just say like, I just want to report the news. Like, well, yeah, you can report the news, but we might cut your story down, or we might not air it because it doesn't fit our narrative, but that we want to push today.
And also, sponsors.
And sponsors too.
Sponsors, our car sponsors don't want to see any of this
Yeah, they really don't.
Tesla shit.
It's like, or they want to see like more blood. They want to see more fears. Like I was listening to Killer Mike, or he did a rapper out of Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
He did a great speech about that. Like one of our friends was talking about it. He doesn't understand why they why they assaulted or vandalized CNN. He says he fully understands. Like they push fear. And I was sitting there thinking about that, and like, yeah, that makes sense because like I watched a clip from the movie Bombshell about like Fox News.
Oh, so CNN got vandalized?
Yeah, that was some of the riots. They like.
That's sweet.
Oh yeah,
I'm happy about that.
yeah, me too. Because that's what he said. Killer Mike was sitting there like, yeah, I was like, obviously, like I'm glad no one got hurt, but you push fear all the time. Like, what do you think is going to happen? They're going to associate you, this dumb mob, and they're going to say, I'm angry at you because you are where I get most of my fear from.
See, I feel like there's two lefts and there's two rights.
Yeah.
There's like the old left and the old right, and then there's the young left and the young right.
I was
and
hearing
there's
about
big
that.
differences between the two of them.
Yeah, I was listening
the four
to
of them.
Yeah, I was getting to this podcast. I was listening to a podcast, and they were talking about that. Like it's from like places like CNN and the Washington Post. Like they had a conservative opinion writer write a post about using the National Guard to stop riots, and like the younger like interns from the Washington Post were all saying like, no, this is violence. You're putting Washington Post lives at risk for some reason by putting an opinion out there. And the old guard is like, no, this is just an opinion piece. We air all sorts of opinions. So like they're in full revolt. So like this is kind of like the college thing where they were talking about where people believe in safe spaces and curtailing speech and cancel culture, and now they're making it into the workspace, and they're showing up at news outlets. So so it's kind of a weird transitional period you're seeing.
Yeah, but I'm just also that CNN and MSNBC thinks like all the left is on their side, but they're not.
They're not, like, yeah, because you'll see like there's a whole bunch of like communities out there with like different viewpoints, but we're so polarized that like if you're a Democrat in like to a certain amount, you're just kind of de facto attached to the Democratic Party. Same with Republicans.
I know it's that weird thing where like for me when I'm like if you don't praise Trump enough, you're definitely a far left radical extremist.
Yeah.
And if you don't like hate him enough, you're this right conservative.
Yeah, I have that problem. Like being a moderate in California, it's like you're. I was called alt-right the other day because I'm like, well, listen, I'm more moderate. I'm more to the right than most people, and if I go to like Minnesota or Iowa, I'm more to the left than a lot of people. So I get called like a liberal out there. So it's kind of weird depending on like if you're in a deep blue or deep red state. If you're a moderate, you're whatever you're not. It's insane.
Yeah, no, it's.
All right, look. That being said, look, we gained like 2 million jobs recently, which is really good. Like, people want to come out of this virus.
Yeah, and ever since the '60s, I think there's been a part of America, an amorphous, part of America that kind of wants a different world, a different society.
Yeah.
An alternative society. It started with the hippies,
Yeah.
We're getting into something kind of deep here, but I know we want to wrap it up. But it's just something that I thought about.
Shit. Sorry.
It's something that I thought about, and it was like it's just. Yeah, I'm definitely like how do I put this? I like the stock market. I like that the stock market exists.
Yeah.
I like the American economy that we have.
Right.
I like that there's people getting jobs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I've gotten to the point where, corporations and stuff are actually starting to benefit me in my life,
Yeah.
And this society that I'm living in isn't hurting me anymore. It's starting to benefit me. But not a lot of people like the society that we have right now.
Well, a lot of people where you live don't feel that way, yeah.
Well, yeah, and a lot of people that are protesting, they don't like, banks and corporations and all this stuff. And I think they can care less about job numbers and stock market performance.
Well, I think, yeah.
And that's something that's good for us in our world. But I'm starting to see that people have a very cynical view of this, and they want an alternative, but I don't think we have a clear idea of what that alternative quite is. Well,
yeah, they really don't. And one of the problems here is they were sold on an idea initially, like you need to get a college education, but no one ever told them you need to get a specific college education. So now they're like tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt to like really good schools, but they got like art history degrees and like weird, like useless. So many of them got weird, useless degrees. And what are you gonna do with that in this thing? You have a degree, but it's like it doesn't really do you any good.
That's why all our scientists and engineers are from other countries and stuff.
Yeah, and that instead of saying, no one told them, hey, they were sold like you need a college degree. Like college did a really good marketing campaign, And they say, yeah, and if you don't have one, you can't get a job. And no one told them like, oh yeah, there is other like good paying. You can earn like $100,000 a year as a plumber, as an electrician, and it takes less time.
I feel like people just want to go live out in the wilderness. I think that's really...
Yeah, a lot of people, kind of want to do that. But also when they say like, I want like healthcare for all, like, well, they don't understand. Like in other countries, like it's not a federal mandate from like the highest portion of government. Like a lot of these places, it's like your healthcare is taken care of on a more like what you consider a state level. But they're demanding like a federal stimulus. Like they don't understand like what that looks like in other countries that they're trying to bring over here.
I can't speak to that right now, but I just feel that the amount of the view that the world has of police, of corporations, and the government, is very lacking right now.
Well, we overused them for one. Like we decided to use them as like social service member.
What's the term when someone's the perception is very negative right now? The trust.
Yeah, the
trust level.
Yeah, our trust in institutions.
Yeah, our trust of institutions has been falling. I guess decreasing over the years. Like, people are less and less trusting and appreciative of the government, of the police, and of corporations. There's starting to be a high level of cynicism about those institutions and those levels of authority.
Well, I mean, as we become more divided, as people like use that division to get more votes or to get more like viewership, like it's good for certain people, but it doesn't like help the overall cause. Like the last like president to really work across the aisle was like Clinton. He was the one who could like get things done. That's one of the reasons he oversaw a really good like economy, is because he was able to make deals with across the aisle and work with other people. Now Joe Biden is like decried for that.
Yeah.
So it's like, that spirit of like we have differences, but we also have a common like philosophy is going away.
Yeah, it's starting to go away. You know what that we still do have though?
What do we still have?
The individualist philosophy.
We do have that a lot.
That the individual matters.
And I think that's going to like take hold a lot, because what I'm seeing here is, especially that COVID's happening, as like a lot of people are learning like, oh, we need to be more independent from the government, left and right. And also like gun stores have been picked clean. Like especially like COVID into this, like people are realizing A, it's not easy to get a gun, and B, I may need one. All the people who said, why do you need a 30-round magazine, look at the news and see like a mob of people attacking someone's business, and they go, oh, that's why.
Yeah, when the asteroid comes, there's no plan. Like, yeah, I'm realizing there's no plan from the government. I don't think any countries have a good plan for their people when the asteroid hits.
Yeah, all government is just mostly how you get your clerical work done.
And war.
Yeah, they're especially ours is really good at that. But beyond that, no, you like that. That's why I always say it's like, for who's going to help you, it's like in order. It's like family, community, local government, and then federal government. But so many times where people jump to local and then federal government.
Yeah. Well, I can see that too, because we don't have strong family culture in America.
Yeah, we've been kind of fucking that up.
Yeah.
All right, look. We're gonna call it here. Look, long story short, like jobs are coming back. Like we got like in a month where we should have like, listen, Trump said some dumb shit about that, but really that is a good thing. Like the economy is like recovering and way faster than people thought.
Yeah, and there's a lot of good stuff happening.
Like, a lot of people are talking about like curtailing the police's power.
Yeah, jobs are coming back, and things are going to go good for me and you, hopefully.
Yeah, I think so. Well, I think it's going to go for a lot of people. People are finally talking about, like, killing the police union. And if you want to make progress on that, kill the police union.
Yep. Yeah, you know what? I hope everyone's eyes are opening up to the extreme measures that our police take.
Yeah.
And a little bit of the systemic racism that we have. So.
we're realizing now. Like, we've been voting in the same people, making the same promises for years, and maybe they're not the ones to trust on this. Maybe it's time to be a little more flexible with what your solutions are.
Yeah. To be continued, but the economy is definitely making a comeback. And
Yes,
I can definitely see it in my stock portfolio.
Yeah, well,
so that's a good sign.
I see it in people in people ordering more groceries and people like getting jobs. So that's excellent. So that being said, I'm your host Spike.
I'm Victor.
And we'll see you next time.
Cha-ching.